Well, hello everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of RaceSpotTV Friday Prime Time here on the RaceSpotTV channel. The Touring Car Challenge round number 8 is coming at you live from the land down under. We head to Oran Park, which does not exist in the real world anymore, but it's been immortalized here on iRacing for our enjoyment. My name's Connery Medic. I'm joined by the ever wonderful Stefan Schlacker for this one as ever, as we have more touring car action on the cards here on this Friday night. Drivers are out there at the very start of qualifying for just a moment, but we are getting deeper in towards the second half of the season now here, Stefan. Just a handful more races to go. You have this one at Oran Park, then Lime Rock Park, then Donington, Alton, and Laguna Seca to finish off the season.
Yeah, it is kind of unbelievable how we're already on week number 8 of the season. Time flies if you have fun, and today, Connery, it might just get a little bit more physical.
It does. Of course, this track, when it was more functional in the real world, well, it was more famous for the V8 supercars that tended to come here once upon a time. But of course, you know, they have quite similar action in that series compared to this, don't they? So it's definitely not a far cry from what this track used to play host to. But as we head towards the track right now, you can see that we've got a good couple of minutes left here in qualifying. Stefan, we can even pull up the standings on the left-hand side of your screen right there, as they currently stand with Ade Copa Lopez on the top of the pile. It's a very, very, very short lap time here. It's going to be pretty fast and furious. It's well, just shy of 43 seconds is the top lap time around here. So these laps will go by pretty quickly, but it is a timed race, of course, of 15 minutes.
Yeah, and right now, it is a little bit surprising. I thought we are going to see much more of a balanced top 10 right now than we are seeing. But in the top 6, it's 5 Audis and 1 Hyundai. So really interesting how it isn't as close as I expected between the 3 manufacturers.
And talking about unexpected things, we're going to go straight to the starting grid because everyone had completed their laps. That's what iRacing does sometimes. It just skips you all the way into the next session. So ahead of schedule, shall we say, Ade Copa Lopez on pole position with Joseph Figueroa in P2, Naveed Hussain in P3, Kira Wolf starts in 4th, with Jojo Baldi in 5th, and James Holman rounding out the top 6 cars. Ollie Peacock in P7, with Joao Moutinho in P8, with Nathan Ames P9, and Javier Carre in P10. Tommy Holman in P11 with Guillaume Oliveira in P12. Then towards the very back of the grid, you have Jack Johns, Manuel Lago, our winner last time out, of course. Nelson Santana, Sam White, Antonio Villalon, and Eric Brigadori there at the very back of the starting order here today. So as we go back to the racing action, then they're not too far away, and in fact they've already got themselves to the grid and they are already racing here at Oran Park. There's no hanging around today, it seems, as Ade Copa Lopez looks down into towards turn number 1, but it's a big for P2 as Joseph Figueroa completely blows turn number 1 after door-to-door contact coming down the pit straight. That is absolutely crazy stuff back there. And, well, we certainly didn't expect that. I don't think we've been expecting a lot of things today, Stefan.
Yeah, well, I was sure it's going to be physical, but how in the world did they miss the entire field sliding through the grass? That is unbelievable, Lucky.
Yep, that is incredible. And, well, it seems like we're having a little bit more trouble here at the very back of the order. Someone's in the wall. I think that was Tommy Holman that was having a big problem. But let's try and attempt to get a replay of this start then, as we'll see it from the driver, of course, the number 15, actually number 6 of, well, we'll just watch it run through as we see Ade Copa Lopez head his way down in towards turn number 1 there. It all happens behind him there as multiple drivers get involved with each other. There's a lot of door banging, which is what you come to expect as far as touring cars are concerned. But my word, I don't think we really expected that.
Yeah, that was Naveed Hussain and Joseph Santiago Figueroa who had that contact going into turn 1. That was really, yeah, I don't know, the very aggressive block from Arequipa Lopez sets that off, I think, because that number 4 had to sort of back off the throttle there, but my goodness, sliding through the grass, 2 cars missing the entire field. This could have been disastrous for the rest of them.
Could have been, as we'll get back to live racing. We've already at 2 minutes elapsed, of course. Arequipa Lopez has been able to get away at the front of this field. 1.2 seconds is his advantage at the moment. Kira Wolf leads the rest of the train, though. It's got a decent train built up behind them. So Giorgio Boldi might have his work cut out here. Of course, Kira Wolf is a pretty fierce competitor in this series, but Boldi's staying in line for now. It's just showing the nose down in towards turn number 1, but that's, there's no sting in that little situation whatsoever. So Copa Lopez, he'd be laughing about that start. All the chaos happened behind him. Everyone tried to check up and avoid the car that was going to come back on towards the circuit. Thankfully, like you said, Stefan, no one else really got caught up in that one too much. It could have been a huge mess in turn number 1. It kind of was already, but could have had so many more cars involved.
Yeah, that could have been Hungary 2021 if we go by F1 standards right there. So very, very lucky that everybody missed everybody else in that. But as you said, it created that huge gap between Arequipa Lopez and Kira Wolf, and the battle we have in behind here, 2 Hondas going side by side into turn 1. Oli Peacock there to the inside, little bit of a tap to Juan Pedro Moutinho. You know, that battle for second place, actually a very interesting battle yet again, because you have the very fast Hyundai, who is fast in the corners, versus the Audi, which is fast down the straight. So you have an even balance there. As long as Kira Wolf stays great through this last turn, Kira will not have too much problem defending off that Audi in behind.
Yeah, so, well, we were going to touch on this discussion. If we had a little bit more of an extended pre-show, we would have been able to say, okay, you know, we have a good handful of Audis here. We have the Hyundais. We've got the Honda Civics. Well, they're here as well. There's the top placed one in P5 at the moment for Oli Peacock. There's not as much of a difference between the manufacturers here at Oran Park compared to other tracks on the calendar that we've been to. It seems like we've got a decent mix here today. And Audi leads the way, though, but a Hyundai, or Hyundai, as is the correct way to pronounce it, in P2 of Kira Wolf at the moment. But it seems like past that initial chaos on the way into turn 1 on that opening lap, seems like things have settled down a good amount, at least within the first 5 minutes of this race. But we know how this can turn, and pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, it can most definitely be like that. And by the way, if you see some smoke there in turn 1, that's just people locking up because they have their brake bias either that far forward or that far backwards. It's just that kind of a corner. And that car chasing Arequipa Lopez, by the way, that's Joseph Santiago Figueroa right now. Yeah, perfectly showing what kind of times he would have been capable if it would not have been about that turn 1 incident. I just hope that Joseph stays in behind and doesn't really interfere with the lead that Arequipa Lopez right now holds over second place Kira Wolf.
Yeah, so, oh, he gloves the back
Speaking
bumper.
of...
What? How is Figueroa? Well, he's lapped down. Trust us, he's a lap down. But he just gave a big shot to the back bumper of Arequipa Lopez.
Oh, no!
Oh, he almost tagged someone. I think he did make contact, but everyone is able to get through unscathed. What was that? It continues. Oh.
Well, yeah, about all of that not interfering with the gap of Arequipa Lopez, that has quickly gone out of the window.
Yeah, it has. It really has. We'll watch it on the replay here. Not entirely sure what to think of this. It's yeah, definitely not the done thing. As imagine if you just hit Lopez just that little bit more firmly and forced him wide off the circuit and allowed Kira Wolf to catch up. In fact, this whole situation has in fact caused or allowed Kira Wolf to catch up about half a second. But there's the off-track moment. There's the contact with the side of Boldi. Boldi just about gets himself through without any damage, but scary stuff.
Yeah, scary stuff. It also meant that Baldy has completely closed up the gap to Kira Wolf, so now that Audi RS3 to the back of the Elantra, so it's once again basically back-to-back Audi, Hyundai, and Audi, and I think Honda, yeah. And also 6th and 7th place have once again caught up, so we now have a 7-car train for the lead of this race.
We absolutely do. So that early advantage that Copa Lopez was able to build out in the opening portion of this race, well, it's kind of been decimated a little bit. He still has a little bit of breathing room, about half a second back to Wolf, but yeah, with less than 8 minutes to go, certainly not an ideal situation for him with the rest of the pack starting to bear down on him at this point. That's the leading grouping that you mentioned, Stefan. Of course, no slings down the inside just yet, but we might be seeing that a little bit later on. As those guys at the front have calmed down a little bit, let's get a little bit of an update with regards to the mid-pack and back. You see Manuel Lago, he's in P8 at the moment. Of course, having a little bit of a tougher time today than he was able to, and the performance he was able to pull out last time around. Guillaume de Vieira, he's in P9 with Javier Carre P10, Navid Hussein in P11, so he's going to be trying to get himself, hopefully, quickly up through this field. We know how capable he is as a driver. Pass through the final corner, it seems, or at least a little battle between Nathan Ames and Moutinho. He's 6 and 7 out on circuit.
Yeah, Mes actually was able to overtake Juan Pedro Moutinho into the last turn. With quite an aggressive maneuver, but a very clean maneuver at the same time, and that has opened up the gap between 6th and 5th place, so that's why we now only have a 5-car train for the lead.
Absolutely, so you know, it's one of the tricky situations at the circuit. Go side by side, you're going to be losing a whole bunch of time, and then you lose touch with the rest of the pack ahead of you. That seems to be what has happened to those guys from P6 and 7. So like you said, it's a 5-car train now for the front of the field. Copa Lopez, his gap, his advantage has come down just that little bit more. Kira Wolf does seem to be gaining bit by bit every single lap. Of course, the slight bit of the slipstream does help, but there's really no big slipstream zones at this circuit. Of course, you know, he got that straight down towards turn number 1, but you're not going to gain that much advantage, especially with these cars being the way they are with their draft. It's not too big of an effect, as you see Ollie Peacock all over the back of James Holman at the back of this pack.
I actually thought Ollie Peacock is going to go for that move. He looked really fast through the SS section there, but decided against it. And, you know, these kind of moves that we saw from Nathan Ames, you kind of have to do them here at Oran Park. It is such a flowy track, one corner into the next one, very fast. And you really have to have that flow in your car as well, otherwise you're not going to be fast. And that's the thing, you know, you have to make those aggressive moves, but that doesn't mean that you have to be not clean in those moves. You still can be aggressive and be extremely clean. You just have to make your moves count, and it's always going to create those big gaps after those moves that Nathan Ames now has to once again close to have a chance of being in the top 5.
Go then out of the final corner, inside the final 5 minutes. We've got 14 laps done already. That's just how fast the laps go by here at this layout of Oran Park. Of course, we're not using the full circuit, of course, using the south layout, I believe, here in this situation. But you can see now how Kira Wolf is starting to turn up the heat. She's well, got all the way on to the back of Ade Copa Lopez. And Copa Lopez, let's see how he deals with this then, because he's had that little bit of a buffer back to second place over the course of this one, but now that's all been gobbled up, and Wolf is now within 0.2 of a second, as there's the lockup, the slight lockup from Copa Lopez through the final corner. This will give Wolf a good run, you would have thought, coming down the pit straight, and you can see Copa Lopez is certainly well aware of it as he goes all the way to the grass on the left-hand side of the circuit, driver's left-hand side, as Wolf has to now go the long way around at this very winding turn number 1. Can't quite get the overlap, still has to try another angle, but slips in behind instead, as well, this one certainly isn't done between, well, all of these drivers. There's not just that battle for the top 2. Anyone in this train can come through and potentially take themselves a podium spot.
Yeah, there you were really able to see the turning capability capability of the Elantra versus the RS3, because Kira Wolf hanging on the outside, nearly being able to hold that outside line to convert that into the inside for the right-hander. That is some great driving and also some great car performance.
Really is. And well, you see moves being made at the back of this train as well, as Ollie Peacock has another little attempt over James Holtman back there, but still unsuccessful. And in fact, Nathan Amis and Joao Moutinho also reeling in this train as well. You can see them right in the background as well, so they might have something to say with regards to this race in the very dying moments here. Well, Lopez, though, has had a good lap. You can see he's pulled the gap in towards the final corner now, so he's not under as much threat as he has been previously. It looks like the battle might be going on for P3 behind them instead.
Yeah, Baldi with a little bit of a bad entry into the last turn, but that meant that Holman and Ollie Peacock weren't able to capitalize off of that, and now once again Nathan Ames back into the picture of maybe sneaking away a top 5 finish.
Yeah, maybe. We've got Nathan Ames having the fastest lap so far in this race, so pretty good going for him, but a top 5 will definitely be the thing that he wants at the end of this one, coming up towards 2 minutes to go as we see these cars head their way through the final corner again. Well, Kira Wolf has been able to gap P3, so Jojo Baldi's not been able to hold on to the driver of the number 3. So maybe if Wolf and Lopez can try and break away in these last couple of laps, maybe they'll have the space to fight amongst themselves, and that will help as well, as Baldi overcommits to the corner just a little bit. But thankfully, Holman wasn't close enough behind to capitalize.
Yeah, once again, basically the story of the last turn just 2 laps ago for George Baldi. Once again being saved by Holman, just not being close enough to capitalize on that. However, this has set Kira Wolf loose, as you said. And remember, that Hyundai, oh, that's a wall hit from Kira Wolf there. Hopefully not too much damage. It has the better traction and better turning capabilities through that last turn.
Does, but you need to capitalize on it and not overcommit to it, just like Kira Wolf did that time. Thankfully, these touring cars are built of strong stuff, so that they can take a wall hit here and there as long as it's in the right place and doesn't ruin the tracking or the suspension on the side of these cars on the wheels. But here we go then, 50 seconds left remaining. This is coming up towards the final lap now. Of course, the lap times 43 seconds. There's 43 seconds now. So this will be the start of the final lap then for these drivers. Lopez and Wolf have been able to pull out another little bit of a gap, but does Kira Wolf have the right stuff here on this final lap to try and get past? Not right now, down in towards turn number 1. What's going on back in the rest of the train? They are all line astern as well. Where does Kira Wolf decide to pull off this pass? We've seen it's possible through the final corner, but it will have to be a massive effort for Kira Wolf to be able to do anything like that here in this one. Through the S's, up the hill towards the end of the lap. You can see Wolf, basically there's no gap between them, and now there's the overlap through the final corner. Kira Wolf, final corner move to try and go for this race win. Coming higher off the corner, she will have the runner speed down in towards the start-finish line here, as they're so close between the two of them. Flashing the lights is Adecopa Lopez. He got to the line first. Kira Wolf in second place. Jojo Baldi in third. As wow, that was incredibly close.
10 more meters and Kira Wolf would have had Adecopa Lopez. That's how close it was between them. 0.013 of a second in the end, separating Lopez and Wolf for the win.
As close as you like. Adecopa Lopez, he is a RaceSpotTV Friday primetime regular, and he's been able to bag himself a race win here today. Fantastic stuff. And it's an Audi on top this time around against the Hyundai and the Honda. Of course, the highest place Honda was Ollie Peacock, by the way. He was basically that the entire day. He finishes in P6 as we'll cycle things back to have a little bit of a look at that final run to the line. As let's have a look then as wheel to wheel through the final corner. You would have thought with the wider arc coming off the corner there, Kira Wolf would have been able to get a bit better speed, and, well, they did. It just wasn't enough to get to the line first.
Yeah, that's the good thing about the Audi. It isn't that fast to the corners, but its acceleration and getting up to top speed just helped Adecopa Lopez to stay ahead until the very crucial second line down the front stretch.
Absolutely, as well, drivers all back in the pit lane now. It will give us an opportunity to have a look at your official race results then from Oran Park for round number 8 of the Touring Car Challenge here on RaceSpotTV Friday primetime. Adecopa Lopez takes the race win by 13 thousandths of a second over Kira Wolf. What a margin at the very end there. Jojo Baldi in P3 with James Holman in P4. Nathan Armes P5 with Ollie Peacock in P6. Yo Martino in P7 with Manuel Lago in P8. Guillaume de Oliveira in P9. Naveed Hussain rounding out the top 10. Then the bottom half of the field, Javier Carre, we've got Eric Brigoladori, we've got Sam White, Antonio Villon down to P14, we've got P15, Jack Johns, Nelson Santana in P16, Tommy Holman in P17, and Joseph Figueroa P18, almost giving us a heart attack at the very start of this one. So that went about as expected, I suppose, here, Stefan. You know, this series continues to give us some good bits of action up and down the field, and, well, certainly couldn't complain about that one.
No, you certainly can't complain about that one. It was physical at the very start, but apart from that, there wasn't much physical passing happening there. I'm very impressed about how these guys kept it together, held it together, and honestly performed maybe in the best race this season.
Yeah, certainly up there, and well, I can't wait to see what the rest of the season has in store for us, because of course next week we are going to be heading to the ever wonderful Lime Rock Park for round number 9. Lime Rock Park, Stefan, of course, the one of the quite essential quote-unquote rookie tracks on the iRacing service. It is, well, not a lot of room to maneuver out there. I wonder how these cars are going to be around that particular circuit.
Yeah, it probably is going to be a much different story than we have seen today, but we know touring car racing as one of the most spectacular racing series that we have on iRacing and on RaceSpot, so I'm quite hopeful that they will find something that they most definitely can deliver to us.
Well, with that then, we've got a lot to look forward to next week here on RaceSpotTV Friday primetime. But for tonight, that is all that we are going to have time for. We had a fantastic race here at Oran Park for round number 8 of the championship. But at the same time, same place next week. Well, you don't want to miss it, because we're heading to Lime Rock Park for yet more touring car action. I've been Connery Maddock, that's been Stefan Schlacker, and we'll see you next week.